Hello. Welcome to another VR show. I'm Ed Charbonneau, and Alyssa Nicole is here with me. How you doing, Alyssa?
Doing good. I just discovered that you can't change your hair to pink.
You cannot change your hair to pink. Okay. I never tried. Can't say I've tried that. So we're going to be streaming some Facebook Horizons dev today. So Facebook Horizons is a new multiplayer VR platform from the Facebook folks. I think it's really cool. The dev tools are unique and neat and very accessible. So Alyssa and I are going to play around today and learn a little bit about designing objects and level design and just
worlds within worlds, Ed.
The next dimension inside of Facebook. What was that? What is it? Ready Player One, the Oasis, I think it's called.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're gonna do today. We've got some design tools to learn about. So there's a lot of basic shapes. We can group and edit groups, and I'll show you some neat tips and tricks in there.
Well, that and world design, right? We can talk a little bit about basics of like levels, and building them, and what that even means for a game.
Yep. We can do that. It's something that I've done a little bit of years and years ago, and can't wait to start doing again. And the real world wants to mess with me. My camera is blurring out. So we're gonna be like super awkward in these things most of the show. I wonder if it'd be good for you to watch the video for a minute as I manipulate some of the objects to show you some of the tools. It might be easier to see just to watch rather than be in VR, and then you can jump into VR in just a minute and try some of that out yourself.
Sound good? Let's do it.
Cool. So let me see if I can get this screen sharing stuff going properly here. So I'm going to share directly.
Hello, welcome to the Alyssa Show. My name is Alyssa, and I'll be the only one here today.
Directly from hitting the exit button and exiting the entire show.
That was beautiful. That was great. I was going to carry it. I was going to carry us all the way, Ed.
There we go. We can see Horizon. That is
good. Your
hands
look really uncomfortable.
I'm going to change my microphone over to one that is on my face. So hopefully that works.
Ah, good old face
Can you
mic.
still hear me through the headset
Yes.
this time?
And
All
as
right.
usual, you sound better.
That is so weird. My Yeti mic should sound better than the Oculus headset, but all of that money, I guess, was well spent on this. So, right. So I'm going to jump into the world that we're going to be building with,
I
and
noticed
I'll
this
show you.
last week when I took my headset off and I was watching you and you were showing me different games that you built.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes it's like super jittery, like the view is kind of nauseating. Is there a
Oh,
way
okay.
to like in settings to like make it smoother or maybe send less frames so that we're not seeing as your head goes back and forth? Like I didn't know if there was because it's sometimes very vibrating, but if not, it's totally fine. It's just
I don't think
sometimes.
there's any way to control these things. It
Okay.
is what you see is what you get. So prepare to be nauseated, folks. So this is one of the demo worlds that you can start with. So Alyssa and I were just looking around here. Can you see this, by the way? Is this coming out good?
Yeah, no, it looks great, and I'm so excited about getting to build in this. I think it's a great base for the game we were wanting to create.
Yeah,
So I'm
well,
excited.
we'll talk about that as well. So we're going to be building a game live here over the next few weeks. So if I hit down on my controller, I can go out to like God mode here and zoom way out and get like the little dollhouse view of the map or the level. So it's
What's with this?
pretty
What's
small.
the green square around everything? Like, what?
So this is if you have a player that wants to jump off of the map somehow. So players will go where they do not belong, and no
Always,
matter
yeah.
how hard you try, they've done a pretty good job here. They've got invisible walls up around, so you can try to get out, but it's pretty difficult. So there's these invisible walls that are kind of blocking me into the map.
Oh wow! I
So
love that. That's great. Because
you can
there
do
sometimes
that.
like you get to a place like where you're not supposed to be, and also there's no way to get back.
And this can help keep people from throwing some of the game objects out of the map if they do not belong outside of the
Oh,
map as
that's
well.
excellent.
So you can do invisible things.
And I mean, we've already got cornhole, so what more do we really need? Like,
Yep, we're done. We're done, Alyssa. We have cornhole. So this is one of the really cool things about VR, though, is that we have physics, and I'm smacking my desk as I do this. And uh-oh. Did I just literally break my controller? So
oh my gosh, did you really break it?
that little bump actually knocked my controller offline. So give me 1 second. This is awkward.
Oh, as
It
John
dislodged.
Gardberg said. Oops.
It dislodged the battery inside. So
Ah,
let's try that again. I'll back up a little bit this time. The boundary should have stopped me a little bit from doing that. But what I was saying is it's really cool because you can make physics. We did physics last week, and it was just as simple as toggling a bit on a thing, and it makes it throwable, and you could set different properties and make them bounce like balls and whatnot. So that stuff's pretty easy and pretty cool. But when you're in VR, what's nice is you can actually pick it up and look at it, that sort of thing. And that's what's a lot different from like desktop development. In
can you
normal
show
like
real
video
quick
games.
on one of those hacky sacks their like physics, or is it? Can you not see what has been added to those elements?
Yes, I can. So if we go in here, you can see all of our little bean bags are sitting here on the ground, and I'll pull properties up on one of those.
I know, right? Sometimes selecting is
I don't know
fun.
if it's a lag thing or if it's... There we go. So this actually says it is... I've selected 2 objects. So give me 1 second here. Let me make sure it's not... It may be a group. I don't know. Nope. I picked up the ground with it.
Yeah, yeah.
This is live streaming, folks. This is what it's all about. Is all of the awkward moments. I can't seem to pick this up without picking up the map with it. Seriously now. deselect that.
The map is
And
very aggressive.
it
Oh, you got
is.
it.
There we go. So, or
It
not.
always weirds me out when you're
There
trying
we
to
go.
like mess with like an object and you pick it up and you're trying to look at its properties and then it like falls because of the gravity that it has, but then it's
Hmm.
the box that it's supposed to be in is still there. So I get
Yeah.
confused on like what I'm supposed to be adding properties to.
So those boxes Alyssa's talking about are right here. And you have to click on those to get the object beneath it because the gravity's pulled it to the ground. And that those gravity settings are in here if you hit behavior, and then select from motion interactive, and then from interaction both. That allows you to both pick it up and make it physics interactive. Um,
I don't
so
understand. Why can you explain when would I want something grabbable but not to have physics and when would I want something to have physics but not grabbable?
sure. So if we do grabbable but we don't make it physics, and we go into the game, it will float in space, but we can pick it up and move it, and
And
it
it
will
just stays.
stay wherever we leave it. Whereas the other beanbags, if we pick them up, they fall.
So like that's good for if you are in like an outer space realm or something and there's no gravity. I don't know why you would want
We
that.
These are good if you have a weapon. So you want something somebody can pick up, and you don't want to have them to like reach down and grab it every time they let go of it. So maybe they have a sword or a gun or something, and they're holding it, and they can just let it go and not worry about it running away from them.
Okay.
You can also do physics only, which means it'll fall. I can't pick it up, but I could set like some bottles up and throw beanbags at the bottles and knock them over.
Okay. So see the box now how it's in midair but the thing was on the ground. Is that like this is where I'm gonna be on load or on a knit and then all of the physics will take
Exactly.
place? Okay.
Yep. So this is where it's going to spawn, and if I hold the controller button down and swipe it, it'll bring the object back into its original
So
location.
John Gardberg just asked, can you give it 0 weight? Is that
Can
a
I
thing?
give it
Did
zero
you
weight?
see weight in the properties? What is
There
that?
is gravity. I could turn off gravity, so that is a thing. I haven't really messed with that too much, but I think if I grab it, it made it heavy.
Wait, did you have physics on or grabbable
Did
on?
I think so. I think I just bumped into it and sent it flying. Yeah, it
Oh
has
yeah. Oh,
both on, but no gravity. So I'm not sure. I haven't messed with that yet. Oh, there it goes. And then, whee!
wait, what happens?
So there's no gravity. It's just gonna fly indefinitely in that direction.
Seriously?
So that's gone for
But what
good.
about the wall?
No,
You
there
have
it
a
is.
wall. Is the wall?
Oh yeah, eventually it would hit. Well, I threw it up, so it's not gonna hit the wall, but it would hit the wall if I threw it that way.
Can you show me more about? Okay, so right now it's got interactive and it's got both. Is there any other like programming or logic attached to it, like that's hidden or no?
No, you can control some things through scripts, and you can set the gravity to a certain number, I believe. But those settings, I don't think are in here. There's no.
Oh yeah, John
So
Gardberg said a feather versus a cannonball as an example. Because yeah, they both would have gravity, but can you control how much gravity they have
I
or how much
don't
weight
think
they
you can through this. It's either on or off.
have? Okay.
I think if we get into scripting,
I was
then
wondering about that.
I
I
believe you
thought
have.
that by default it would have a script attached to it that had that kind of information. So it's odd that I guess there's just a default gravity that you can just toggle on things.
Yeah. So see, I can set gravity here.
Oh yeah, can you get a little bit
Oh,
bigger
it
on
is
your
not a.
script?
It's not to a value though. It is only to true or false. So it looks
Oh.
like we can turn gravity on and off, but we
No, here, that's what you
cannot.
can do in the other panel, right? I mean, I would
Yeah.
assume it's the same.
So there isn't an amount of gravity. It's just either there or it is not there. So
Okay.
that's new to me. I haven't tried any of that yet. So you can be in outer space or you can be on Earth. You can't have both.
I love
So
it.
let's talk about editing a little bit because you see there's some pretty complex things. We've got a car in here. There's some pumpkins. We've got
Well,
lighting
and
too.
for people just now joining us or for the first time seeing VR, can you explain why that car is complex? Somebody might be
Yeah.
like, what are you talking about?
So
It's lovely and it's just a cartoon car.
this is more of a Horizon thing than it is a VR thing. So Horizon is a very simple game engine, and it only consists of these 12 basic shapes. So these are all the shapes that I can use to make anything, and there's no vertex editing. So vertex editing is, for example, if I wanted to create a triangle shape like this out of a box, then I could come in and delete some of the vertex
Oh,
corners out of it and make this shape. I
right.
can't manipulate shapes like that. I get what I get, so I can't subtract anything from them. I can only combine them together. There are some
See right
alignment
there on
tools
that
that
view,
help.
you had like lots of little those orange. What are those? What are those pinpoints?
These are alignment points. So I can use these to align some objects. So if I want to make these two line up, then I can drag it to some of the points like
Okay.
that. That helps get these things lined up. And then if I want to kind of make these the same size, I can do the same thing and kind of drag it to one of those points
Okay. Snaps
like
to
that.
it. John said, so the world is a vacuum where a feather and a cannonball would fall at the same rate.
Yeah, exactly. That is exactly what happens here. Um, so uh, we can
So
create
you're saying
things out
since
of
there's so
these.
few like options, something like this car is actually pretty brilliant.
Yeah, so the car is pretty brilliant. Um, Let me try to reorient myself here. There we go. So the car is made of many, many, many shapes. And this is probably a good point to talk about some of the grouping tools, because you could see that I can select the car as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
I'll make a copy of it so I don't ruin the original here.
Did
So
you
the
already
copy
copy it? Oh,
tool,
you did.
the copy tool is this button on the side. You can see my green highlighted tool there. Anything I grab and move will create a copy. So I'm going to move it back to grab, and I'm going to select this car, and it looks like it's one object. You saw me move it as one object. It looks like it's one object, but you could see the ungroup button being highlighted right there. So I
Okay.
can ungroup that, and now you can see all the shapes that it's made out of. So if I
Can
grab
you like
the
grab the
window,
windshield? I wanted to see that. What can you tell me what shape that was made out of? Like a cylinder or what how
sure. So this to me looks like um, it was likely. Boy, they did a good job with that one. It's
I
probably
know.
this guy here. I think it'll actually tell us if we highlight it. Mesh capsule. So if I look at this, this is the capsule, I believe. Yep, capsule. So they
Oh, cool.
squished the capsule and mushed it around until they
But
got
you
that
have
shape.
swish ability, you just can't delete any part of the element.
Yeah. So they got really clever with that one. I don't know how they quite got that exact shape. It looks like there's more than one capsule in here as well. So this
There
one
is.
says mesh
Using in the
capsule
shapes like you.
B, and this one did not have a B on it. So I'm trying to figure out exactly which one. I'm not sure. So they may have gotten that one that mushed like that, or they used this round cornered box. Oh, there it is.
There's a round
This
corner box. I didn't know.
soft cube. Yeah, I'm not sure which one they actually used for this. Oh, it is. Okay. I see what it is.
It is
I
the
mushed
mesh.
it the wrong. Yeah, I mushed it the wrong way. So there it is. That's about what they have there. See that?
Okay.
So we got a
Yeah.
lot closer with that.
And then
So
you can
that's
just
what they
modify
used.
color and
So there's a couple things that we can do. I'm trying to move it back so I don't ruin it. There we go. That's probably good enough. So talking about colors and stuff. If we go into our tools, there's a paintbrush, and we have a lot of predefined colors. There's a couple different palettes. This is probably more appropriate to the world we're in, this autumn theme. So there are all of these colors. We'll give this like a purple color just by tapping on it with our handy paintbrush there. But notice their windshield has like a shine to it. So what we can do is come in and select metal and then
What?
select our box. And that will actually give it
Did it work?
a glossiness. It's still a little bit hard to see there. So we can look at some of the other materials as well, or we can up the intensity of it. And you can see a preview there as I
Oh
scroll.
wow! Yeah, you could see the shine happen like
So
near
that shines
100.
it way up. Now you can see it's shiny. I don't
Oh,
know
there
how
it
good
goes.
that comes
Yeah,
through in
'cause
stream, but
yeah, you have to get it a pretty harsh angle for us to see the shine. But that's so cool.
you can also make it a plastic color, which is a little bit more of a dull shine.
Do that one. Oh yeah, that's so cool. What
So these
about
give the material
the last
properties.
one, glow? What the heck is
Okay,
that? Is that how they're
so
doing the
this is a
headlight?
very special material that we can add, and you can see it in the headlights here. So if I
Really?
take one of the
That
headlights,
glow?
and I'll
Because
show you
I
how to make
assumed it would
these.
have been some sort of script or something, like giving it a light box or something.
So there's a headlight. So if we come into our paintbrush and we kind of just paint that, see how it looks dull? It's
Mhm.
not, doesn't have that glowy effect. So if we go over here and select this, now it looks bright. And look at it also actually
As a
illuminates.
light, yeah, it's like turning whatever object into a light source, I guess.
Correct. So what you'll see throughout the map is there's often some extra accent lighting. So they have these little chain lights here, but they wanted to add a little accent lighting to kind of give this area a little bit of a lighting effect. So if I come into this and I make this visible, you can see they've just dropped a block in here,
Oh, I wondered
set
about
the
that.
light properties up. So they've taken an object like this one, and you can light this area with it, and then you can come in to your properties and make this box invisible. And the light
The light is
remains,
still there. Oh, cool.
but the big box is gone. So you can kind of create these like little lights, but not have to worry about each individual light trying to light the space. You can actually make these lights that you can manipulate and kind of highlight sections that you want to highlight.
I'm
So
assuming
that's pretty
invisible
cool.
also means it's not physically there. Like you can't run into it.
You can, but you can set that property as well.
Oh,
So if I look here and I say collidable is off, that means I cannot run into it either.
oh, cool.
So it can be invisible, it can be collidable, and if we have both off, then we can't see it, we can't run into it, but it'll still emit its light.
Oh my gosh, this makes so much.
So
Okay, would you say that this is similar to other, like when you're programming and building other levels and different types of frameworks? Would you say this is similar to how you do it, or is this like totally a Horizon only way of making light?
this is very much a Horizon way of doing things.
Okay.
Usually you have an additional, what they call in Horizon, a gizmo. So usually there's a light gizmo, and you drop the light in just like you would a sound, for example, and you
Oh,
drop
I
your
actually wanted
sound
to
into the
talk
map.
about sound. So
Yeah.
sound is totally like to get a sound, it's different than what we just went through with a light.
Yes. So we have these sound blocks. These are in here by default. These are, let's see, there's music playing that you probably can't hear right now. So there's like a background music that's playing. So I can stop that so I can hear a little bit better. But this plays in continuous loop as the level is loaded. And
You
then
you have
here
two
goes,
boxes
there's
there
one of those awkward moments where it put the,
in the
so
ground. You're saying those two boxes are related?
they're not related so much as they are both ambient noises. So this one is like a background music, and this one is like wind and just kind of like outdoorsy noise. so it makes it sound like it's in a realistic space. So we've got the outdoor noise, and then we got some country music that's playing.
Freestyle Coder is lurking, he said, because he has the headset on and can't see it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I forgot to turn on my speech thing today.
I got you.
So you got my back.
I got you.
So these are some of the shapes that make up the truck. We can add light and sound. I left that light above the truck so we can see it a little better too.
Yeah.
So I ripped the windshield off here, and I'm going to move that back for a moment. And sure, that's good enough. We lined that up good enough. Let's talk about grouping real quick. So let's group this back. And you can see each individual piece of this is something completely unique. So all of these pieces are just basic shapes. So this railing, for example, if we wanted to group this, if I tap this direction while I'm highlighting all of these elements, they all become grouped. And then I can even duplicate that group. So now we have like a little fence maybe. So just plop a little fence down. I can also come in here, now that it's grouped, say I want to edit these pillars and make a tall fence. What I can do is I can come in and select my shape again and hit properties, which is up on the little tilde button here. And I get this menu that says group of 4 objects. So that tells me this unit is all grouped together because it's saying it's a group. And I've got a new button on this that I don't have on just a basic shape. See that right there? It says press to zoom in or out of this group. If I click it, notice the world got dark. I'm focused on my group now. So that's pretty cool because now I can come in here and I can select this individual pillar in the group and move it or manipulate it.
So you're saying you don't have to ungroup and regroup every time you want to edit something in that?
Correct. Okay. And this is something somebody showed me one day on Horizon. And I was like, you just saved me so much time.
So much time. I know, especially because like if you have something like the truck and you're like, oh, I really need to adjust the windshield, ungrouping every single piece and being able to reselect every time would be such a nightmare. So this is wonderful.
Yeah. So that's one of the reasons why I said it might benefit you to stay in the real world and watch how this is done for a minute.
No,
just so you can see some of the different tools.
Are you duplicating those?
Yeah, so you can just easily duplicate these and that, oops, I ended up resizing that one.
Oh.
I grabbed the size instead of the duplicate button, but you can just do that. And then, I can click this again. And now this thing is still grouped. Whoops, I duplicated it again. It's still grouped. Even though I did all that work on it, it's still grouped as one piece. And now I've got this little fence that I can't, I can block off parts of the map with or something.
Dan Siegel said that your background clearly describes the picture.
Yeah, we've got the VR set up today. So this is how some of the more complex shapes in this are made. And I could see I've duplicated the truck. I'm a monster with the duplicate tool. Do you see the 2 trucks?
Oh, I did not even.
This is maybe where baby trucks come from, but that's for another show. We'll move that one. I might have done this too many times.
Oh, how many times?
I've got too many. So if I want to delete something, all I can do is highlight and press down, and I can trash those. I wanted to come in here and grab one of these pumpkins. So the pumpkins are just like the truck.
Oh no! Did you
a grouped bunch of shapes. So if we look at this, and I come in, to my edit group button again, I can come in and dissect this. So let's grab one of the slices of pumpkin, and notice we've got
that's how they did it.
Yep.
Cylinders.
So if we pull these all out, and we could dissect the stem here. So that's just a little half pipe, and then there's a little cone at the top, and then these are just all toruses just wrapped around in a big circle. So that's how they did the pumpkins. So we dissected that and left it in space to look at.
As is proper. That poor pumpkin. It didn't deserve it.
So let's talk a little bit about like level design and stuff. So this one's a really good little start here, even though I've kind of destroyed it as we've looked at it. But this is, I guess, just kind of a hangout. It's not so much of a game, even though it's got like some cornhole games over there. But it's a nice little setting. So they've got some lighting that's pretty appropriate here. They added some accent. So the thing that really stands out to me for level design, especially in an environment where you're so limited, is it's the things that you subconsciously see that make it feel more realistic. So if you look, we don't have textures in this game, in this tool. So everything is just a plain color. There's a little bit of like shading for materials and reflection and whatnot. So what they've done, instead of leaving this just a solid red brick or red panel, they've made it look like wood by just adding these little accents to it. So I thought that was clever. So you could see the little panels that they just kind of overlapped here, and that gives you that idea that this is wood. So it's little details, like subconscious details like that I think really make this stand out. Another thing is that, there's little things littered throughout the area. Like there's pumpkins in here. There's like a little loft area. Let's take a look at, the table. Here we go. So they've even assembled like some little leaves. There's like debris that they've left around. And it kind of brings that space together. So I thought there was some clever usage of those type of props. It looks like we even have a little checker game over here too.
Lazarus and Layla said hi. And hello.
Hello, folks. Hello from virtual reality. This map's really well, or level's really well done. I think it's a great little starting point. We might use this for our game that we're gonna start working on a little bit. But I think the main thing was just to show what some of the different tools were, to show you how some of these things were made. Like even these hay bales are just very, very simple objects that they've kind of added a couple blocks together.
That's tactile, isn't it?
Yeah. So they've got some physics objects in there. So you can walk over and play tic-tac-toe by just, you don't have to have complex scripts for everything.
Oh my god.
I mean, not everything needs a script, right? It can be simple. We play with, just by the honor system of normal rules.
That's true. You would not believe, oh my gosh,
apples.
Apples. You would not believe how entertained our DevRel team was just by throwing things off a building. Like in VR.
This is true.
Literally an hour of, can we throw this off the building? What does it look like? Like it's so, yeah, you're right. You don't have to. Sometimes gravity is all you need.
So let me jump over to another.
What engine is this made?
This is Facebook Horizon. Facebook Horizon. Let's see. Let's go to create here real fast. And let me see if I still have another one. There was another level in here that was really detailed.
C# Fritz Coding Squad is here.
Here, let's jump to this one. Hey, it's C# Fritz. All right, we got a raid from C# Fritz. We're doing Facebook Horizon. We're talking about world building a little bit today, not so much the coding and scripting part. So I'm showing Alyssa around the build tools because she's going to help. We're going to build a game together in the next couple of weeks. We're going to figure out.
So excited about it. And apparently Ed is like a pro on game level design. So he's giving me some basics today. So I'm excited.
So this is another starter world, Alyssa. This one we messed around with and did like the snowman. Right? I'm sorry?
This one's like much bigger, right?
Yeah, this one is a bit bigger. We played with the snowman last week, remember? So let's look at some of the stuff. Remember what I said about like a lot of the level design stuff here is subconscious. Like it's the things that you don't notice that make it really like feel more real than just just a bunch of basic shapes laying around. The trees, if we pull one of these trees apart, notice that what they've done here with the trees. So we'll do the little zoom thing again so we could see this really good. And they could have just used a white stalk here, but they went the extra step and added these little kind of like bark pieces. So
it's a different way of thinking about it, though, because like as Ed said, everything that's created in this world is made out of, what is it, 12 shapes? What are the...
Yeah, I think it's 12 basic shapes.
So it's so weird because I would think, okay, if we want that aspeny striped bark tree look, then we need to like paint stripes on it. But since that's not an option, the same with like the barn and how it's like wood textured, because they have extra rectangles that are added to it to give it that depth. And I would never have thought of that. Or like that snow cap, right? Like they wanted to make it look snowy, so they put a like disc of snow on top of it. So it's definitely a different way of thinking about creating and painting and building something. And it's gonna take some getting used to, because there's like even that truck, like looking at how the pieces were put together, it's I wouldn't look at those 12 pieces and be like, I can build a world out of this. Like
Yeah. I just counted. It's 15, by the way, if anybody wants to be exact about stuff.
Oh, 15. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So Quantum sorry, you go.
I was going to say, I won't throw anybody I know personally under the bus, but my wife, there's somebody that I know that, like, if I say it's 5 o'clock, she'll go, no, it's 5:02. And I'm like, really?
Oh my God!
Does that matter? Does that really matter that much?
I can literally be like, I'll be like, Zach, it's like 5 o'clock, and he'll be like, it's 4:28. What are you talking? Like, that's how much off I can be. I'm like, I don't really, it's fine. Look at that bird! Oh my God, zoom in. Also, Quantum wants to know how uncomfortable or / comfortable is the VR headset, which I has one too, and I think both Ed and I are wearing the same one. Can you talk about that for a second, Ed?
Sure. So this is the original Oculus Quest, and Alyssa's husband has the Quest 2, and he was giving me some pointers on how the 2 is a little less comfortable than the 1. So while I haven't tried the 2, and that's the one that you can buy right now, I heard it is a little less comfortable. But this one I can wear for about, depending on the game, like up to about 2 hours before it's something I want to rip off my face. So... that's an hour to 2 hours is probably reasonable anyway, for a gaming session. Like, you should probably be taking a break and like doing something else with your eyeballs after about an hour to 2 hours in front of the screen.
And you're so funny. I have like Destiny raids that are like 8 hours plus long.
Oh,
so
no.
You're so funny, Ed.
I've been there. I've done the full day gaming sessions. I'm not above it by any means. When you're in VR, though, it's a little bit more, I think, stressful on the eyes and the face and whatnot. So
for sure,
you may want to give yourself
2 hours
some breakage.
Although it's weird, there's some games that they suck you in so much. Like the first time I was using VR, I was playing this one lighthouse game where you're solving puzzles, and I was so into it. I took the headset off and I like tried to do something with my joystick, but in real life. And it was like my brain was getting confused, and I was like, what is real?
Yeah, you really get kind of a warped sense of things when you pull this off your head.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's when it really hits you. You're in a different place than when you started, and you're like, oh man, this is weird.
I am sorry, but that is the cutest bird I've ever seen. I have to implement it in our game somehow. Like, look how cute that bird is!
Like super basic shapes too. So it's just a couple cylinders and 2 triangles, or triangle and a pyramid.
If you could get that, can you get the animation? Oh no, that's totally a sidetrack. I just want to get the animation working for it, so it's like, bobbin or something, bobbin. Like, oh my God.
So, we can animate. We couldn't get this to work on stream last week because I don't know if the game engine supports it.
Really?
So if we do animate, on this tab. We can take this, and it's going to record whatever I do here. So I could take this.
Go like super slow though, because like I'm really bad at this. To show you
So
went to the animate tab, and then oh god, you're going really fast. What are you doing?
So it basically just records whatever I do.
Wait, how did you get the dial, like the compass dial to?
Sure. So on this hand, there's a snap tool. So whenever I have, I'll disable it. So no snap tool. And when I don't have the snap tool, I can turn this however I want. And then if I hit the snap tool, that's when I get the little orange bubbles. And then if I use the rotate tool, it gives me a guide and it snaps that in.
You're hella fancy. Okay.
We'll leave snap on. We'll hit record. So you just select the animation tab, hit record, and then whatever I do here, once I start moving, it's going to record this.
Oh, so it's not recording the dead space before?
No, it will trim it for you. So we'll hit stop and we'll hit play, and that's it. It's an animation now, and we could trigger that through a script if you want.
And then you could like literally hide these guys like up in the trees, and then like as you're like moving through the level, if you like look up, these little guys are like looking around. Oh my god!
We can make him. We could change the animation speed and make him freak out.
Like as someone enters like the room or something, you like have all the creatures like, oh god.
Then you just put this little freak of nature down here, and then he's doing that, and now it's creepy.
And you're like, perfect. I've never built anything this amazing. I love it.
Now the game is super creepy. So I wanted to point out, like, once again, though, like they put some blades of grass around the rock, gave it a little like mossy texture. So these little things like go an extra mile, I think, to make stuff believable. So you've got a little snowdrift here.
They really do, but I think I'm really excited for this series to see how, because we had a storyboard, and I can show it if you want, but we had a storyboard of like our inspiration for the game that we're building and what we want to go after. And I think it's going to be a really eye-opening experience to see someone who has done like game building before and can take this like really broad inspiration of real world artifacts and then turn that into something where you're saying, oh yeah, look at these little details and how it makes it look like a real but / cartoon thing in this world. I think that's going to be, it sounds harder than, and then hopefully it is, because I don't know, you're I see how they did it. I don't know if I would be able to make it happen.
We've got a few minutes left here. We have a hard out at 30 minutes.
Ed does have eyeballs now.
Yeah, usually I get like a V right here.
Dude, it's not even fair when I'm like in the headset and I take it off. It's like bright red, and Ed is like, "What? I wasn't in the virtual world at all, like compared to me." It's so embarrassing.
It's just, I think for one, I have the strap. I have a different strap.
Oh, and so that helps. Ooh.
I have a third-party strap on mine.
Ooh, Ed is Frenchy.
I am. So our Dropbox.
Mr. Magoo, all the creatures stop and look, but one little bird stares for too long, flips you the wing, and stomps off. You never know why. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh yeah, this is our game inspo for that. So I wanted a first-person shooter type experience where you're walking, because like we did Snowman last episode where we had the snowman and it had like an effect when you punched its head, but I really wanted to shoot its head, and I know, I'm sorry, that might be super violent. Ed was like, we can tone it down and make it like a slingshot or something like super tame, and I was like, cool, I don't want to scare people. But so as we were talking about this game, we were like, we should use ninjas and the Kadoka from our work, like from Progress and Kendra UI. And so that's where this style like came. And so he's showing you our storyboard. But I'm really excited to see how Ed takes this inspiration and can actually make assets inside the game. So
yeah, so we'll start working on this. Is it next week that you're on vacation, Alyssa?
No, it's like April 1st. So I'm good for a couple weeks.
we'll start with this next week, and I think we'll have a little bit more showtime as well. We're
Cool.
getting cut a little bit short today, but basically we have our Telerik Ninja and our Kendo UI Kendoka. So one of the things that we both talked about was maybe having like a setting that has like a Mount Fuji type of a theme. So we've got our Kendoka Ninja Temple set somewhere in like a mountainous region. We still haven't decided what time of day we're gonna set it, but we'll figure out that stuff. So this is all kind of things that we need to decide on as we build our world here. So what I like to do is have a couple showpieces. So there's something that's in the background that's not part of the player area that kind of draws your eye and makes it feel bigger than it really is. So we're gonna make like a mountain in the background, like a dormant volcano, or maybe there's some smoke coming out, something
We
big.
just have a competition where we like Ed goes off for 20 minutes and makes his mountain, and I go off and make my mountain, and then we look at them, and it's like Ed is this like glorious work of art, and I'm like triangle.
We do these things at home.
Oh God,
So
I can't wait.
we've had craft offs over the pandemic with the kids and the wife, and that's
And you always show them up. You're not supposed to show your kids up, Ed.
What's funny is I don't do a lot of art projects these days. I do a lot of computer stuff, right? I'll build things in VR and I write code. I'll do some Photoshop design work, but the kids never see me work with like other mediums. So one day they're all painting, and I'm like, boom, I'm painting, and they're like, when did you learn to paint? Like, what is this? And I'm like, it's like riding a bike, you know? So anyway, both my mom and my sister are artists, so it rubs off. That's all I can say.
Nice.
So I borrow some of their skills and talents every now and then. So we have the big focal point, like the distant thing. That's our mountain, and then I listed some other smaller landmarks. So these are like things that we can make as points in the level that we would be locations that you might visit. And Alyssa and I kind of brainstormed some things here. Like there could be a Zen garden, a shrine, some arches, a koi pond, maybe with some animated fish or something, courtyard, bamboo forest. Those type of things could be different landmarks. And landmarks are helpful in level design for letting the player know where they are. So if you're running around this map, if you're in the Zen garden, you know that if you turn right or left, there's a bamboo forest or a koi pond or whatever.
Right.
You can kind of landmark where you are so you don't get lost. So those things can really help. And then landmarks get broken down into what do we need to build these landmarks? We need bamboo for a bamboo forest, and we need some trees and things to light the paths and that type of stuff. So there's some assets that Alyssa and I will need to build. Another
So
thing.
player assets is interesting because there's a way to like put something on a player, like that's a thing.
So yes, so the game engine does support wearable objects, so you can attach things to the player. I haven't actually done it myself, but I've seen other people doing this. So we can
Sounds like
create
you're
masks.
saying you might be able to make my pink hair a thing.
That is quite possible. So it's kind of like Lego, like like the little Lego people. You can like snap things onto like their faces and stuff.
Yes.
I've seen people doing that in the game, and there is a script to attach things to a person. So we might be able to have a room where you go in and get dressed up before you go, quote, into battle.
You go to war.
You can grab a Kendoka mask or a ninja headband or whatever and put those things on, and then they're attached to you.
And like I'm so sorry for this gun, but I was super like, I really want to shoot something, Ed. And so he helped combine the idea because what would what would a Kanoka or a ninja have throwing stars? And he combined that very kindly with something that would shoot them. So I
Yeah.
appreciate your creativity there.
Uh, so this is what? Oh, I can't type. It won't let me type. But it's
Oh,
what things are we? Uh, what? Whose whose face are we shooting? I think that's what that means. Um,
right.
so
What
we
what
need to come up
face?
with we need to come up with enemies. We haven't really figured out what kind of types of
Maybe we
enemies.
have really creepy birds that you're shooting.
Really creepy birds. That's yeah. And then we need to figure out some game rules too.
Mr.
And
Magoo wants to know: will it include a I don't even know what that is. A robot hand? I don't know what Mr. Magoo is.
robot hand.
Do you see, he's asking this little
Oh,
emoji.
power glove. Power glove.
Power.
Alyssa does not know what a power glove is. I bet.
Oh god. Love you
This is
all.
before her years. The old man in his power glove.
I'm like, will it have a robot hand?
We haven't really figured out what the game rules are yet, but we're
Mhm.
thinking on the lines of like an old school what are those things called, like the BB gun arcade,
The
like the
arcade, yeah. And
yeah.
you're like shooting down ducks, and then at the end of a timer, it's like, your score. But I was really hoping for floating scores in the sky. But we'll see. We'll see.
We could possibly do this. We could possibly do this. And then we started grabbing some like visuals, like what are uh, I think Alyssa was hungry, so
Okay.
this is
I'm
should be
always
sushi.
perpetually ready for sushi. Just
There's some
always.
really cool stuff here though, like the snow top mountains. That would be like a really cool
Or those
backdrop.
archways would be so cool. I don't know what they're
Hmm.
called. I'm sure they have a term.
Yeah, it's like I think it's like a temple arch or something. They're
Mhm.
really neat. Um, so we've got like the temples,
Also,
pagodas,
I'm an
those type of
insanely
things.
huge fan of Lucky Cat, and there's like a funny story that one day I'll share with everyone.
Oh, well,
So if we could have a hidden Lucky Cat, that would make me so happy.
this will be your first asset to build.
My asset. You like Lucky Cat?
So there's some really good stuff that we put together here. Like I like the tree line and stuff. Like these are things that we could easily add in the distance to make things look nicer. Um, so I have some ideas around how we can block this out. We don't have enough time today to talk about it, but we'll go in game and like just grab like some big like white squares and just kind of like plunk them down and create like this will be the middle of the map. What's here?
Yeah.
The Zen Garden's gonna be there, and the other thing's gonna
Well,
be
so
there.
even for like you were saying those trees, like the silhouetted trees in the background and having them out in the distance, even just seeing what you mean by that is going to be really helpful for me because I don't get it. I'm like, they're going to be floating in space. How do you make that cohesive with the ground? And so I'm excited to see how you do things like that.
There's some interesting things that we could do with this type of stuff. You can put things out in the distance. You can also use like forced perspective on things. So if you're
Mm,
familiar with forced perspective, but you can take things in the game and make them smaller or scaled awkwardly to make them look much bigger than they really are. They do this at Disney World. So like the
they
Disney,
do.
yeah,
They
like
do.
Princess Castle is not that big in Disney. It's really
Right.
not that
But it's
tall.
so cool how that works. I love that. And even shadows. I want to talk about shadows with you at some point. So I'm really excited about this. And performance. I would love to know if there's some sort of like, like if you're developing in the browser, you can always open up dev tools
Hmm.
and you can always do things to check out like how heavy is this on my content paint and how long is it taking. So I didn't know if in the game there was a way of being like even a warning of you got way
Yeah.
too many assets or way too many light points or
So that's actually an awesome question, and we have just enough time to cover it. So I'm gonna try to
yeet.
pull this back up.
We got
So
5 minutes, bro. We
I
got
think
5 minutes.
everybody's kind of got the idea that we have some assets in mind, but
Oh, look at Ed floating in nothingness.
so
Seriously, where are you? Are you like far away from the
we'll
map?
try to relate back to what we were talking about here. So the first thing is this is a very limited engine. The reason they keep it so limited is because these VR headsets, not all of them are attached to a PC like mine is right now. Most of them are standalone. So all of the Oculus Quest headsets are standalone. So that means all of the processing is being done on my face, like quite literally, like on top of my face. So we want to make the worlds to where they don't lag when people load them. So Alyssa, your question is just an absolutely awesome question. If we go to the, I think it's this, yeah, it's the publishing tab. So the center tab here, check out this one that says capacity.
Oh.
And this is something you do not get necessarily in all game engines because like something like Unreal or Half-Life, Source Engine, all that stuff, they might run on like a various platform of PC hardware, right? So you don't have so much of a budget as to what audience am I looking for? Am I looking for like the hardcore gamers that have like the 3 graphics cards in their system? Then maybe, all bets are off. I can put as much detail as I want in this. This is not one of those things. So they actually give you a publishing guideline here. It says keep the capacity below 100% to publish. And then you have these bars that tell you how much assets you've used.
Oh, that is wonderful.
It is. One thing I don't like about it, though, is if you open an empty world, I think this geometric complexity starts at like 20%. I don't know what that's for. So I don't know if that is accounting for the number of players and like all of the assets it requires just to have players, or if it's something else in just the environment.
You're saying completely empty as in it doesn't even have ground?
I believe it starts at like 20%, which is
Wow.
awkward because I'm adding all of this stuff and then it's hard for me to judge like if I add X and it's going up by a percentage, then how much did what I added actually affect
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. I wonder if it's counting it in, if it's rolling it in though, just so that you have whatever processes those are, like when you create a world, because I guess maybe they should have kind of counted that and maybe lowered it
and
to
then
80% or something. Yeah.
It's like getting a scale and it already starting off with some weight on it when it should start at 0.
Yeah.
So that part I don't like, but I like that they give you, some publishing guidelines. And this is your capacity for the world.
That's really cool. Thanks for showing me that. Because I'm always concerned, like, are all these details costing us? So that's really cool.
And they've broken them down too, which is good. So you can get pretty complex with this stuff, though. Let's see, what's the clock look like?
Is this the world that you did the bird in, or no?
Yes. So
okay.
Over there freaking out.
Because I was just curious if like that one animation would like skyrocket our.
Yeah, see, that's the thing that I said is kind of difficult to gauge because they start you with stuff in the world already. Right. So as you add things, you'll notice the bar doesn't really move up that much, but it's at 20%, and you're looking at like 5 objects, and you're like, I'm already at 20%, but then you add like 5 more things, and it only goes up 1 more percent.
Right.
So that initial starting point throws you off a little bit. And you have to kind of.
Because I'm gonna do some tests where I like duplicate animations and like see if like 5 of the same animation is like the same performance hit as like 5 different individual animations. Like I'm really curious like how it works behind the scenes. So I'm really glad you showed me that.
This is something I've been tinkering with. So you can see how some of the level stuff is laid out. This is going to be a really simple skee ball game, but
I thought you said there was no water. What the heck? You built that?
I will have to explain that one after the show, I think, because we're running out of time.
Yes.
I just wanted to show kind of.
Oh, we are on the top of the hour, by the way.
Okay, yeah, we need to bail on this one, but I just wanted to show kind of how some of these things evolve. And I've got like some of the different textures down here I was talking about. I use that kind of like wood plank idea to make like wooden steps. We've got different types of rocks that have been kind of molded into the surface. I've got some background. Remember I said there's those bigger key pieces in the background? So I've got some like architecture that's kind of like floating in the sky in the back there.
I love
So
this.
it's starting to come together. Those are prototype targets, so those are you shouldn't see those right now, but but this kind of just gives you a sense of how you can put some of these different little ideas together and make them feel a little bit more realistic, like handrails on the stairs.
Yeah, or even the lighting on the steps. That is so cool.
Yeah. So the game assets will come here pretty shortly, and we'll be able to play some skee ball in this realm.
This is really cool. Oh,
So we're getting close. We don't have the targets quite set up yet, but you get the idea.
oh, this is so cool, though. I love this world. Oh yeah, we are over. We are over on time.
So we better take off, but it was a lot of fun. We'll build some of our kendo and ninja assets in the coming weeks here.
My head is so big.
All right, Alyssa, thanks so much for being part of all of this. This is a lot of fun.
Absolutely. And we'll see you guys next week. We're going to do some
Yep.
level design.
Yay! We'll both be in VR next time, so now you know how to get in there and break some stuff. Bye, everybody. Take care.